Well, hello there, Apple Bodies. This is your Apple Bite written. Yeah, I can't even talk today. Look at that. That's another good start.
That was a great start.
I tongue twisted on my own name. Written Rit Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, Apple Bites, where we take a bite out of the apple and share it with you. There we go. That's better.
Yeah. Take two. Second take was good.
Take two. Oh my God, folks! It has been an interesting, hot week.
And it's only Monday.
Oh my God! I thought it was a whole week. That says a lot right there.
Yeah, it's that kind of day.
Oh my God. Whew. Dude, man. And this house has no air conditioning.
How are you alive?
What?
Oh, I don't know, man.
Like is that an orange shirt, or are you just literally on fire right now?
I'm happy you saw that. This is a lot of fire. Oh, and there you go. Japan says, yes. Oh my God, folks. It has been hot this summer, and I'm bringing you some more hot stuff today. And you know what? We're going to start our show here with our friend Jim here. Jim, why don't you tell the people who you are? Give them the spiel. Give them all the good stuff. Come on. Go ahead.
Do the thing.
I'll be more than happy to.
All right.
Hi, everyone. My name is James Shagrew. My pen name is Jim Grew. I am the creator of my own OC, Blue Hilda, which you know. Axel, my name is Blue Hilda. Nice to meet you.
Love it.
And I am also, I work at Titmouse Animation Studio in New York, and I have worked on several projects like Adult Swim's Super Jail and China, Illinois, but I have also worked on Adventures of Tip and O for Netflix and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle special called Half Shell Heroes for Nickelodeon, and I am currently working on Disney's Kif.
I gotta say, I love Kif. It's such a fun cartoon.
My cats love to watch Kif.
Yeah.
Especially my younger cat. He loves watching TV. He loves watching cartoons. Loves watching Kif.
Yeah, my family calls and says, like, James, Claire, and Eli, those are my nieces and nephews, they love Kif. And it's like, thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. And I relayed that to the creators, so that makes them happy too.
Still.
Oh my God. You've been working at this for a long time. When did you decide to do your own thing?
Well, I actually started the Blue Hilda short, believe it or not, 10 years ago. Like, I was on a hiatus for a bit, and I had this character in my sketchbooks ever since 2006. Like, throughout college and throughout working in a supermarket and then working at Titmouse, I just kept drawing all these ideas of her, and it's like, wow, I really want to do something. And then it got to a point like, then do it. You know, you've been at this studio for a while, like, you know what you need to do, so just start doing it. And then I just started storyboarding it, and then I showed my boss, Chris Pronowski, and he said, yeah, this is cool. Yeah, you know what? We'll help you do this. And I was like, wow, cool. And for the next, I would say, 2.5 years between working on the different shows during regular hours, I would do Blue Hilda on the side, and a lot of great people at Titmouse, both in New York and in Los Angeles, helped me put Blue Hilda together. And then, lo and behold, February 2017, it was completely done. And then we screened it at our 5-second day, got very well received. And then over the next couple of years, it started getting a few accolades, like it won first place at Animation Block Party.
Nice.
And then it won, a while ago, it won a Cannes Film Award for Best Sound Editing. So I have to give credit to Simon Panrucker, who was my the guy that helped me do the background music. He was amazing, and over time, my boss Chris tried to help me pitch it to Nickelodeon and to Amazon, and they liked it, but they weren't quite ready. And to be honest, I was okay with that because as much as I love the short, when I look at it, there's a lot of things that, and this is not on the people that helped me, this is on me.
Right.
I saw some things that I think could be improved. So around 2019, I started writing the comic book for it. And when I was doing this, I kind of gave it a soft reboot. There's the first 7 chapters are based off the short, but I wanted to give her more empathy, and I wanted to make the bad guys in the short, the Unbearables, have a cooler design than what they are in the short, because originally they were just a bunch of humans in bear clothes, but then when I did the comics, like, I'm going to make them kind of like half bear, half human monster looking people, and I'm so happier with that. And as far as I've been going, like, everything that I wanted to pitch as a cartoon so far, it's a reality. Like, it's written and drawn for the comic, and I'm very happy with it. But I just got to keep going.
I gotta say, me and Matt were watching it a little bit before. We were in the green room while we were waiting for everybody, and we were just saying this looks really like something right off TV.
Thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't look we see a lot of stuff, and
it doesn't look like homemade.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's really
honestly, and like, thank you so much. And believe it or not, like, I still would love to see it become a full series especially based off everything I've written and drawn for the comic so far. But I would definitely say, like, the way the short is, I would not handle it that way if I did a series, because I have been so amazed by everything that's been done on television lately, like Bob's Burgers with Toon Boom Harmony, and Titmouse has delved in Toon Boom a bit, and it's a fantastic piece of software. And I love playing around with the rigging and trying to figure out ways to, I still love to draw, but I want to make it in a way where it's like, okay, we don't need to draw that many things, and I still get the same results. So I've been happy with what I've been doing with Toon Boom and rigging.
Which is funny because there's been so much controversy back in maybe, I'd say, like the early 2000s or so, or like the 2010s or whatever, where people are like, oh, I don't like things in Toon Boom. Everything is just, kind of like stretched out cardboard. And it's just like, it was just studios being lazy. But like the software itself has so much like power, so much capability. And it's cool to see that like people are using it in a much less lazy way now.
And you know what? I feel like, yes, I was on that same boat in like early 2000s, way before I started attending school of visual arts. I just wanted to hand draw everything, like Aladdin and Ed, Ed and Eddie, and Rocko's Modern Life. Like, those were the things that I grew up with. And I was like, what is this? I don't like the way things are going. But that was just like an early stage of how TV animation was approaching it. And because of Titmouse, like, this is when I was still learning to use Flash. And they showed me all these different ways. Like, you can make it not look puppety. Like, they showed me all these cool techniques about, like, either like drawing pieces when you need to and just reusing an ear or a piece of a head. And over time, I just really started to appreciate that craft. And I could say the same for CGI, because when I was 11, like, when I saw Toy Story, like, yes, I thought it was very impressive, but I still loved like the line work and how 2D animation looked. And when I was growing up, like, CG is amazing. It's just I didn't see too many things like what I'm seeing today with CG, like Into the Spider-Verse and Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Like, now I would say, like, I would love to see Blue Hilda or anything I'd come up with be done like that. In fact, like, there was a Daffy Duck short back in 2009 that I don't think gets enough credit. It was called Daffy Duck's Rhapsody, and they used a recording of Mel Blanc singing a song like, "Greetings, my name is the Daffy, I'm just so riff-raffy," and they animated a CG short film based off of that record, and they did a phenomenal job. They did smearing, and they gave like these really crazy looks in their eyes that I would only see in 2D. So I would recommend that you check it out. Like, it's like, you look at it, it's like, this doesn't look like CG. This looks like pretty close to Roger Rabbit, like, kind of animation. Like, pretty, I would say.
Dude, I gotta check that out. Oh man, let's tease the people a little bit. I'm gonna show them the beginning of this.
Long ago, there lived a group of witches known as Brunhildes. They were sorceresses of high society that relished in using their black magic to perform pranks. But even evil has a lifespan, for Brunhildes would eventually croak. But thanks to a ritual performed by the Brown Cowls, Brunhildes could be resurrected with the aid of several magical ingredients, including the most essential, a Brunhilde wart. But 10 years ago, an imbecile mistook a blueberry for a wart, blended the ingredients together, which resulted not in a Brunhilde, but rather Brunhilde! Excellent! You see what you did?
Oh, dude, quit beefing me over the head.
Dude.
Sold.
Even the beginning of it, just, you know, I'm like, okay, let's go watch this.
Thank you so much. But again, very proud of what we did with the short. But that's another one of the things that I actually changed when I started doing my comic. When I was pitching her, there were a lot of shows about witches being done, and I felt like that kind of put me in a very weird spot, because it's like, this person has a show about a witch, this person has a show about a witch. So I decided, instead of calling Brunhilde a witch, I call her a verruga, which is a Gaelic term for a wart, and that's what her ancestors are called. Like, they were wart demons. And it's just, I just wanted to kind of do something a little bit different. So it's like, she's basically like a kind of like a cute little demon now, instead of just a witch, because I always thought when I was a kid that witches were monsters because they had green skin. But anytime I looked up anything, it's like, no, they're humans. And it's like, but why do they have green skin?
It's only certain one of them. You know, there's a lot of witches out there who look just like us.
Right.
J Pan is saying, so why hasn't this been picked up yet?
Well, I mean, at the time when I was shopping it around, there was someone that was making a show in development that was about a witch, but unfortunately, I don't know what happened to that. But I mean, I would love to try pitching it again, especially with everything I've written for the comic book so far. So, and I just have to keep going with it. And honestly, like, I feel like I need to, like, I might be totally wrong. I feel like I need to fly out to Los Angeles again and just kind of talk to networks again. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, how does it work, like, in terms of pitching? Let's say you pitch something and it gets turned down. Like, are you, like, what are the rules on this? Are you allowed to rework it and come back to the studio and say, like, oh, hey, can you look at this thing that you looked at before? I made it better. I
mean, if they forget about it the first time, I don't see why not. But the other tricky thing is about pitching is there might be someone there that's like, I'm looking for these types of shows, and it's like, wow, this is great. And then over time, they might either leave or they might get pushed out the door, and it's like, hi, I'm the new person. And it's like, I'm passing on this. So
No
that's
fun
sort of-
allowed. I'm the new person.
Yeah, because like I don't know if you ever watched Seinfeld, when George and Jerry made their pilot and it just finished airing, and then this woman comes on like, Russell, I don't know where he went. I became the new president, and I'm passing on your show. But you can't do that. The show just ended 10 minutes ago. Well, I just got the job. Bye.
Oof, that's so brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still kind of learning about like what you need to do to pitch, but one of the things that I really hold true is you need to have a hook. And honestly, I feel like that's what helped me when I printed my first chapter for Brooklyn Comic Con and Anatomo. When people came to my booth, I was just, as they slowly came by, I was saying, hello, this is my original character, Blue Hilda. And I opened the pages and I described, like, this is her mother. You know what? Give me 1 second.
That's exactly what caught my attention when I was walking through I can't even say the freaking Anatamu. There you go. Anitamu.
And
Was the fact that he caught my attention. I was like, I gotta go over here and see this.
So when I first started, I wanted to do, this is the cover of the book.
Ooh.
All right. And so I wanted to do something different compared to the short, where her mother is in a very intense battle with a very, very evil source, someone even more evil than the Fabellas, which is Blue Hilda's last name, which is also based off the name of the character from Wicked, Elphaba. I just rearranged the words because I'm a huge fan of Akira Toriyama. But so she's in an intense battle, and then this evil force is like, any last words, Angela Fabella? Make it a good one. You only have 1 page to say it.
Oh my
It's
god.
like I love action, but I also love like a little like just a little bit of humor just to lighten it a bit.
Break the fourth wall
when-
just a little.
Yeah.
Yes, and so like when she's on her last leg, she just goes, yeah. And then
Relatable.
until the narrator says, like, in this very Michael Dorn voice, like, and the last living Veruga fades out of existence, or grossly incinerates, whatever you want to call it, a new Veruga is coming. A Veruga who will forever change the Fabella lineage. But that's enough exposition. Let's fast forward to 10 years later. 10 years later? I just said that.
I love that.
I
Oh
also
my
love
God.
how even the comic like looks very cinematic. Like
Yeah.
it could easily just translate to a screen and be a cartoon.
Thank you so much. And I have to say that what inspired me to move it forward as a comic was when the author for Lupin III passed away in 2019, Monkey Punch. And because at the time I was really getting into the anime series, and when he passed away, I was like, I don't know much about the comic book. And I was looking at it and I was just mystified by how different it was. And I could say the same for the Sailor Moon anime compared to the comic. Like both animes of those shows, like they're a little bit lighter and they have like a lot of good senses of humor, where the comics in those, they're like Lupin, the comic is very risque. And the Sailor Moon comic is a little bit very, very dark.
Yeah, it is. It is depressing sometimes.
No, I mean, and I'll give the author so much credit because she came up with the idea. It's just I still like the 90s one a lot because it's good comfort food and it's just such a fun show to watch. And also Ninja Turtles, like how they started as a comic book.
Yeah, it's all about gritty.
Yeah.
They made a little bit of a change when they jumped to the screen.
A little bit.
Just a little.
And honestly, like if anyone were to approach me about doing whatever I've been writing and drawing for the comic as an animated series, I know that they can't do exactly how I drew it. Like
That's
they're
true.
gonna have to make something that's like a little bit more. It's like it's your idea. We just have to streamline it a bit more so everyone could touch it, and
Yeah, so it's easier to
that's the way it
reproduce.
goes. Mm-hmm.
Are you doing it all, lettering, coloring, everything, or?
Yep, everything.
Magic.
But over the years, I have been trying to change my technique a little bit because since coloring is so much work, I actually been figuring out a way to just use 3 colors to color other chapters. Because someone at Titmouse named CJ Walker showed us this amazing process called risograph, which is basically when you print out like a color at a time, and you get like this really cool little mix of colors. And even though like I haven't printed these chapters yet, all these colors that you see, these are all just using 3 colors over on top of one another.
Wow.
Because like I have like a layer for just blues, and I have a layer for just yellows, and then I have a layer for just magenta, and then I mix them together, and it's still a little bit of work, but it's not as much work as having to do each character's individual color palettes.
Right.
I think also that's how comics are printed too. If you're doing not digital printing, but I forget what the other term is that they use.
No, offset printing is
offset.
not.
Thank you. Yes, every color is assigned to a plate, and then they they have like CMYK, and they just like have a plate, and they just slap it onto the page.
Not as much as it used to be, but yeah. But there is, like, I printed one book in actual risograph where they print each color at a time, and it's like, sometimes it doesn't exactly line up, and it gives it kind of that cool old school look. But yeah, nowadays the offset is a little different, but kind of the same idea.
Yeah, I was warned when I was doing the black text, because my black wasn't like a true black. It wasn't like all K. So they were just like, hey, look, you have to make this like a true black, otherwise when we're like layering the plates, your text is gonna get blurry. And I was like, that was like a 184-page book that I had to make sure all of the colors and whatever were like up to their standards.
Because I actually just found that out like 15 years into doing this. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I don't know. Blacks, what's a true black? I chose black. I don't know.
Yeah, and you're taking your little color picker and going over it, and you're like, oh, I see what they're talking about, and I hate it, and I don't know how to fix it. And that was like 2 days worth of Google searching to find a way to
how you fix it is you print digitally instead of digital printing.
Yeah, I will always
go
to
worry about it.
Yeah, because I am planning on making a compilation volume of everything I've done for the comic so far. It's just, when I first started it, I used the RGB setting, because that's only for like when you're on your laptop or if you're on Instagram. But friends are saying you really should be doing this in CMYK, so I have to go back and convert them to CMYK, and I did that for my special chapter for Comic-Con. I had to reconvert everything into CMYK, and I'm very grateful that I did that, because I don't know if it would have looked weird in RGB, but
the colors would have been off. Like, probably only you would have been the person to notice that. But
right.
I think the worst part is if you don't convert it. Usually your blues, your greens, your purples, like your cool colors, end up running a little darker than they actually should.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's probably something that, like, unless you're using some like super dark colors, like you'd be the only person to notice it.
Yeah, that's what I usually hear about it. I'm no color expert, but yeah, most of the time they can get it. It gets pretty close. But again, you would be the one to know. So depends on how OCD you want to be about it.
That will save for another time.
I used to be so OCD, and now it's just like, oh, is this good enough? Okay, cool. On to the next thing.
It's not just good; it's good enough.
Good enough, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, when I first started the comic for Patreon, I was trying to adhere to a schedule of like, I need to do this, like, post every week. And even like when I had like a certain backlog, it got to a point where I was running around and my wife would need me for something. It's like, not now, I'm still doing this. And then over time I was like, I'm still the one producing this for now. Patrons will come and patrons will go. I can't not leave my wife in the lurch or just like, neglect everything. So now I just post chapters when I can in a realistic manner because, I still have a full-time job to do. And my wife is having a baby that's
Ooh,
due in November. And I want to be
Congrats.
sure thank you so much. And I want to be there every step of the way for her.
Yeah, I used to run 2 webcomics at once, and I quickly realized like that was a bad idea because one I was updating once a week, and the other I was updating like twice a week, and I was just like, why am I doing this to myself? I'm not even making money off of this right now. Like, let me slow my roll and like just not work so hard.
It is very funny how the more creative control we have, the more weird limits and things we set on ourselves. Like
The more we overwork
we're
ourselves, I
just like,
think.
yeah, I should be doing this, and this. Yeah, it took me a long time to get to that point where I was like, I can just do it when I want to because this is not my income.
And then then there's that voice where it's like, oh, well, if you don't do it frequently, people are going to think you're a flake. They're not going to like, back your thing or pledge to your Patreon. It's like, no, a lot of people are actually wonderful and reasonable. And they're like, we don't want this creator to die while they're working on this project. So whenever you feel like updating, I am happy to keep giving you $3 every month and you just chill out and do your best work.
Yeah, I've definitely found that's that is very true.
And I will
but it's
say,
good to have some goals, right? You don't just want to if you don't, you'll never complete any project. So you do want to set some deadlines, but yeah, so we often push ourselves too hard.
and I will say, I give so much credit to anyone out there that's been able to make a living off of either Patreon or a YouTube channel, but it's still a little nerve-wracking how to achieve it because it just seems like we're in this era now of like all these creators being able to do their own thing on their own time, and I still haven't figured out the magic recipe to do it even more consistently because like there's so much involved, like besides just writing and drawing it. You have to promote it, you have to sign up for other places to be like, hey, I'm on Twitter, so check me out here, and then I'm on this Twitch channel, check me out here, and that's a job unto itself. So
yeah,
I'll tell you that's always been the toughest part for me is like all the hats you have to wear. Is like I don't want to be an expert in web design and doing my taxes and stuff like that. You don't think about all those things that you get into. Hell, I didn't even want to learn Photoshop when I first started. I just thought I was going to snap my fingers and people were going to produce scripts and all these comics were going to come out, But some of it I enjoy. I have enjoyed, learning how to letter my own comics and I've done some color flatting. But a lot of the stuff, it's like, yeah, I like, your computer crashes and you gotta, you gotta maintain, your computer and all these other things. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like making the comic or like getting it done whatever way is like always the easiest part, and then marketing it and trying to get people to like buy it and get invested in what you do is like the hardest part.
I know.
I'm not saying something because making comics is hard. I'm not saying it's easy at all, but it's just like you get you climb the 10-mile high mountain and then you're like, all right, what next? Oh, I got to climb the 20-mile high mountain to like market this thing.
Don't lie. I know you sat down to draw that first page and you were like, yes, someday I'm going to be an expert on social media algorithms and how to do ads on Instagram.
Twitter. Especially the ever-changing algorithms. And, God. When you post a link, your whole post is just buried anyway. So you're just like sitting in the dark in a corner. Like, what is the point? How do I market?
I can't tell you how many times I've obsessed over when I post something. Like I always constantly check on like when is the best time to post on Wednesdays.
Oh my
God.
God.
It's like Wednesdays you can do it at 9 a.m.
I was gonna say 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. anytime between.
And sometimes I'll do it and then it's like I'll look like 9 hours later. You got 62 likes. Okay.
Like, all right.
But then sometimes over time, it will be like 2 weeks later, like, oh, now this post has this many likes, and that was a while ago. So I don't know if the algorithm sometimes is like, oh, right, you. Okay.
Yeah, you still exist? Okay, yeah.
I gotta say, Man of the Meeple, I love the name. That's where you need to leverage your friends to help spread the word and post about it on social media. I would love to leverage my friends. I always feel like I post stuff up and my friends go, "Oh, look, Ralph posted something up." Okay, Ralph.
Yeah, it's like, they won't acknowledge this. They won't even give you a like just so like the algorithm is like, oh, hey, people like this. But then, you're hanging out with them and you're having coffee like 5 days later and they're like,
I saw your Instagram, and why didn't you like it? I don't know.
I try to politely coach them and give them little graphics, and it's like, we've been friends since high school. Like, I know it's like, you're just like, hey, John's doing his thing, but like, I really am a small business who needs, your help.
and it's funny because I think a lot of people who aren't like in our industry don't understand that like we need help. They're looking at this, they're probably looking at your Kickstarter like, oh yeah, he's got $2,000. That's great. He's doing really well. It's like, bro, it's still not funded. Like, please help this man.
You're right. They don't understand. Yeah.
Oh no.
He's doing well. He's making lots of money. Thinking that's all going to be profit and not like it's all gone into the artwork and the printing. Right. And if you're lucky, you have money left over for like an ice cream cone.
Yeah. Even some of our friends in the industry don't understand that. You're like,
I completely agree with you.
I know you see 4,000
Kickstarters.
Yes.
and you tell them something, and they're like,
It's like, no, he's okay. He's doing well. He doesn't need me. Somebody else will pick it up. Don't worry. Like, and if everyone's sitting there saying like, oh, someone else is gonna help out, don't worry. Then like, who's helping out?
Exactly.
I feel like I'm gonna sound like a dork for saying this, but I feel like my biggest fans is my wife and my family. And I
love that.
It's true because they all came, like my wife helped me at my table at Brooklyn Comic Con. Both my sisters and my parents, they've never been to a con before, and they came to Brooklyn Comic Con to support me, and they brought my nieces and nephews, and one of my nephews was so blown away by the whole experience. And when they bought everything from me and they were wrapping up, he was asking like, can we go to Comic-Con again?
Aww. That's great that the support starts at home, because then that fuels you to just want to keep going too. Exactly. It's hard to be by yourself, like, with no one on your side, and you're just like this, like, you don't get the positive feedback.
And honestly, like, I don't know how other people may feel about this. It's just, of course I want to do my creations all the time, but I don't want to forget about the people that I care about, because like I don't know if the universe sometimes says like, well, if you do this, you're going to sacrifice this, and it's like, but I can do both.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do both. I should be allowed to do both.
Yeah, like I should be able to sit and draw what I want to draw and write what I want to write and be with the people I care about.
Exactly.
And there has to be a balance. Like I don't know, committing yourself to the cause 100% of the time is just, that's not healthy at all.
No, not at all, man. And I have to say, like great support you have there though with the family. That's something to cherish, because I'm going to tell you, a lot of times a lot of people don't have that.
I don't have that. I'm that person sitting in the dark, just like, my own cheerleader, like, come on, we got to do this. Somebody out there wants to read this.
I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
See, that's what we build our family.
Yeah, like Ralph's my family now. He doesn't even know that he's my family. Like, I got the adoption papers and everything. He just has to sign them.
Oh, jeez. Another mouth to feed.
Does he let you stay up late at least?
Yes, he does. He's a bad influence.
Yeah, I'm always talking to her.
He's got her on the damn shows till 3 a.m.
Exactly. See, he knows.
I had to stop that, actually. I had to stop doing late shows because it's been like killing my migraines. But yeah.
I be talking to Matt at 2 in the morning. We're talking to John at 2 in the morning. They don't answer back, but Vin Diesel like family. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Don't turn your back on family.
You don't turn your back on family. Oh man. I
Never
like
go
what you
against the
have,
family.
and like I said, when I was there at the convention, it caught my eye. I was like, okay, talk to me.
Nice.
It's a great character, and the book, folks. I know we're showing little bits and pieces here, but and he showed a little bit there on the tablet. But you have to see the book in person.
Yes, sir. Where can we purchase this book?
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
I am. You know what? I'm going to look into that. Like, because I have been thinking about, like, okay, why not sell it online? So I am going to do that. That's another one of the things I still need to learn.
Fair.
So trust me, I will definitely make a online order for the physical first chapter that I made. So
because it's
just
funny.
to hang in there.
I was gonna go back and buy the book, but then I'm running around doing interviews. So by the time I went back, the whole place was closed.
Oh.
Well, you know what? I still have like 10 copies left. So, just shoot me a message and I'll be more than happy to send you one for just $12, if that's okay.
That sounds great to me. I love a discount.
Excellent.
I'll do it because,
Thank you.
folks, I'm telling you, talking about it, seeing it, it doesn't do any justice. The book looks fantastic in person.
It looks like it jumped straight out the TV.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see this. I want to see more.
Thank you. And I want to see your Kickstarter as well as John's Kickstarter.
All right, speaking of which,
we don't
Good
have anything.
segue.
That's a great segue right there, Jim.
We don't have anything
I like
cool
what
like
you did
that.
there.
I want to hear about China, Illinois. Baby Cakes is my spirit animal. I love him.
Oh,
When-
cool. Do you like chicken nuggets?
Whenever
It's
I'm
the dream, Rima. They're my ex-imaginary friend.
when I'm having a bad day, I love to listen to the wise words of Baby Cakes and those original Neely shorts. I just love him.
Yeah, I love those old shorts.
So, Mr. John, since he gave you a great segue there, why don't you tell the people the stuff? Give them the spiel.
I'm John. I do stuff. I am the owner, letterer, writer for Part-Time Comics right here. And our latest is LCS. A series of global catastrophes has left life on Earth decimated and made comic collecting a huge disaster. Follow a group of survivors in the post-apocalypse as they run the last comic shop. I love post-apocalyptic fiction like many of us. The Road, 28 Days Later, come to mind, The Walking Dead, all these great fiction stories. But to me, it's such a revered genre. How am I gonna compete with like Richard Matheson and I Am Legend or Cormac McCarthy's The Road? Like I thought I had a vague idea, and I sat on it and I sat on it and I sat on it. And then one day I said to myself, what would I be doing in the apocalypse? Well, of course, I'd be going to the comic shop, right? Like everybody else is dead. I can go get that choice, pop vinyl, those toys I've been missing, those back issues. So why wouldn't I? Because, those are probably going to be the places that aren't like looted and rioted and stuff like that. So there's probably still stuff to be had there. And then once I kind of had that idea, I was like, okay, now I have my in for what story can I tell in this, post-apocalyptic genre? And I, again, then sat on it for like another 5 years. Thought I had an artist in line with me. I really wanted to work with someone who, was into the story. They couldn't get it together. They couldn't fit it in the schedule. But thankfully, I've become friends with the amazing artist Winston Gambro. You see his art there on the screen. I talked to him. I pitched him the story. I said, I want to work with you. This is kind of one I've been sitting on for a while. He had some great ideas to add to it. He's obviously an amazing artist, designer.
He's a machine. How many comics has he done so far?
He does a lot. He makes me look bad.
Like every time I check his social media, it's like, oh, hey, I just did this new comic. I just did this new comic. And I'm like, wow, I can only like crank out one comic every 4 months. Like, what is this guy doing? And it's not to say he takes like shortcuts and his comics are lazy. Like, he's drawing like all of these like post-apocalyptic, like broken down buildings and stuff. And I'm just like, just makes me look like a chump.
Yeah, he's
Colors are
amazing, and
gorgeous.
he's the designer for Oni presses, all their like trade dresses and stuff. He's done design work for Part-Time Comics. We actually worked together. He did the cover for our Simpsons tribute comic, so that was how we kind of started working together. He's fast. He's amazing. He really came up with the color palette for this book, which is a huge part of it, and just nailed it. But again, he's very into the story. He's very much into pitching. This is what I think it would be like, and this, I think this would be funny. If you've been following the Westhoff verse for any of the last 15 years, you know that a lot of my stuff leads towards the comedy side. But, there's going to be heavy moments. They have mutants to deal with, and they have giant mutated rats that try to kill them and stuff like that.
Oh, no.
But it's a little more, it's a little bit more on the humor side, tongue in cheek, about these survivors that are trying to build up the last comic shop.
Let's play the videotape.
It's literally the worst video ever.
We'll be the judge of that.
Hello, Last Comic Shop listeners. This is John from Part-Time Comics. You may have heard of our great series, Drumsticks of Doom, or Child Possession Services. Amazing graphics. But we have a new series coming out in 2024, LCS. A series of global catastrophes has left life on Earth decimated and made comic collecting a huge disaster. Follow a group of survivors as they run the Last Comic Shop. You can find more information on any of these books at Linktree/Part-Time Comics. That's Part-Time Comics with an X. I told you it was bad.
But it says best video ever. No, yeah.
That's called a joke. That's called John was stubborn, and like I said before, you don't want to be this person who wears all these hats. I hate editing videos. I hate recording videos. And I said, I'm not doing one this time. And then an hour before I launched, I said, man, I got to do a video. So I threw it together.
It's fine. Only like 5
the
people.
videos help out a lot.
Only
they
5
do,
people
and I know they do, but it's like it's always the last thing I do, and I put it off. And I actually had a promo because when I was searching the comic title to make sure there wasn't another one out there, there's actually a podcast called the Last Comic Shop Podcast. It's fictional. They were the Last Comic Shop, and they talk about. So I reached out to them, and they're super nice, and I was like, yeah, I have a comic coming out with the same name. I just wanted to let you know, I promise I didn't steal it from you or anything, but it's not about your podcast. And they thought it was funny. So they actually offered, they're like, oh, let us do a promo on the show. So the recording is like a commercial that I did for them. So luckily I had that from them, and I threw it together, but I know I have to get better with it or bring in somebody who can actually do it.
I think you just need to have more fun with it, because I feel like you're doing it and you're like, I gotta do this.
I know.
Instead of just like doing it and having fun with it.
I had an idea, because I mean, when I first saw it start up, and then I heard like you're talking and stuff in the logo, I was like, maybe you could have done it from the point of view as like a radio recording that someone's listening.
I was thinking the same thing.
I always think of like Fallout and how Fallout has the radio and like the radio hosts. Like, yeah, you could have gone that route.
I definitely should.
I could have seen it, All right, true believers, here we are at LCS, the radio station that everybody wants to hear.
I know y'all are more talented than me. I'm a lazy man.
You do a lot. You're not lazy. You're overworked. How's that?
That could be, but
it's a brilliant idea. I don't think I've ever heard of anything like this before. It's just, I love that type of humor.
Exactly.
It's very meta. Like, it's a comic about collecting comics. Like, it doesn't get any more meta than that. Yeah.
I mean, if it sounds clever, but really I'm just a one-trick pony. I do every story. Like, our superhero story was a superhero who retired, and now he's doing comic, conventions about his book, and this is about comics. And my social worker for possessed children is about. Thought about this stuff. I just got that. I just found that lame twist you can make to everything. Just make it meta. But no, I mean, obviously it is a comic. I opened this to you guys. I was asked recently on a show. They felt like that's a cool premise. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, no,
yeah, it is.
All of us are into collecting comics. Why wouldn't we want to see? But they felt like I left too much open. Like, they wanted me to say, like, well, what are there other motivations and stuff? And I was like, well, that's why you got to read the book. But people tell me I pitch short. Like, I'm not. Like,
you do pitch short, and we're gonna have a talk about this afterwards.
But I feel like I just want to give you enough to make you want to crack the book open. Like, I don't want to say like who the characters are, because in this particular story there is a twist about how they survive, so I didn't want to give
Well,
that
I mean,
away.
you don't have to talk about the twist, but you can talk about, you know, the characters that start out, like, what are their motivations? Because, yeah, it's like
And that was the exact word they used. Like, what we want to know what motivates them. And I said, well, collecting comics. That's what I said, right? Because that, you know, that's what all of us would be doing. But I definitely could up my pitch game.
We gotta talk about this.
It's
you sell
hard.
yourself short sometimes, but yeah, it's like you definitely need like a character for them to be interested in, and you know what their motivations are, what struggles they're facing, things like that. Even if there is a twist, you can like, you know, just set them up, and you know when they come across the twist, then it's like, oh my god, what a twist!
What a twist!
What a
and
twist.
I definitely can say, for those listening who maybe are on the fence about it, obviously it's about collecting. You know, there's a bigger story here. It's only a 2-issue series. We want to see how it goes, but there's definitely a bigger story. It's about, you know, us as obsessive fans and how we, even in the end of the world, you know, we can't let that go. But it's also about, of course, like all, you know, post-apocalyptic fiction, it's about what our main character there on the cover, Cole, lost from the world ending. You know, it's not just about, so, you know, maybe this collecting, you know,
I got it. Yeah. I got something for you.
To that. Yeah.
So in the apocalypse, Cole has lost everything, and now he's filling the void by collecting comics.
There you go.
Like, how many of us can relate to that? Raise your hand.
I know I'll still be collecting.
Like, I have depression. I'm gonna buy a comic now. like isn't that how
the world has ended. I'm still going to the comic store.
Like, I've lost everything except the comics.
I do the same thing with toys. If I'm depressed, like, well, time to go to Target.
Well, you can probably see behind me. Yeah, there's the reason why this story hits home for me, because you know that's kind of what I do.
They say right what you know.
Retail therapy.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm really proud that this one's finally out there in the world. You know I've kind of overextended a little bit this year. We've had a lot of campaigns going, so I think it's
I gotta give
like
you
said,
credit,
Ralph.
Man.
It's like how you're still on
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter.
A lot of campaigns you've put up.
Yeah,
this
and
is
then
number 4, right?
This is number 4, and we've our number 5 is live as we speak on another account. We're also launching a comic convention, so wasn't busy enough and decided, you know, let's take the plunge into making an independent comic show at the same time. So we've got the Indie Comics Expo as well. I've been setting this up since last year, and boy, was it a pain in the ass to find a venue that would actually take a leap on doing a independent comic show. But thankfully, we had done a show about a decade ago at Reggie's, the first Indie Comics Expo, and we're back at Reggie's in Chicago on September 26th of this year from 6 to 10. You can get early entry tickets. We also have creators who are going to be at the show have donated some items to raise some funds to keep the ticket prices low, to keep the table costs low. So yeah, you know, they say if you feel like something's missing in the market, or you feel like there's that book that's not out there, you got to fill that void. So every year for the last 5 years, I've talked about how there's not enough smaller mid-level shows in Chicago. So I said, it's up to me, I guess, to start one. So that's what we're doing. It's about 2 blocks from McCormick Place, where they host C2E2. So if people have been into town for C2E2, it's not far away. It's a concert venue, so it ideally flips right into a with a couple tables. It makes for an awesome convention setting. So I'm hoping people will come out.
I like the combination. I feel like you should have some bands going up there.
And we do. We will have live music to end the show. Dan Doherty, who's an amazing artist on Drumsticks of Doom, we're inviting him and his band to play. And thanks to people who are backing this Kickstarter, we can afford to just like I do with the creators who work on the books, I take pride in paying independent artists. So, you know, we're going to be able to hire Dan and his band to play. It's got a built-in after party. You don't even have to leave the venue. It's right there at the end of the show from 9 to 10. Dan and his band will be playing. We tried to line up a couple other bands as well and kind of make it a split comic show concert. But this year we're kind of going to take the foot off the gas and see how the first year goes. And then maybe next year, go full out with that. The first one we did, we had MCs Adam Warrock and Mega Ran performed, and that was great. And this year we're going with a rock. Maybe next year we'll go with, heavy metal or something like that. Because there's a lot of independent artists out there, and my 2 loves are, music and comics. So why not bring them together?
It's a good combination. very good combination.
I gotta say, you're the heart of indie there, because you're right. You don't see something, you do it.
Yeah, and again, the few mid-level shows that have kind of popped up post-COVID here, I have to be honest, like they're charging, 80, 90, $100, for these 5-hour one-day shows, and I'm just
Ooh.
like, no, there's got to be something better. So, I can only invite, the venue's only so big, so we only have, about 16 to 18 creators this year, but I felt like, that was a good starting point
That's
to
a great
kind of building
starting
up
point.
something better.
Yeah.
Yeah, only
And-
$7 to
wait,
get
that's
in,
16
$8
to
for the early
18,
entrant.
and you got a band.
And we got a band. And if you're one of the first 100 entrants, you get a free part-time comics book. So
Ooh.
even if you're not in the area, share it out if you can. Maybe somebody who's in Chicago, somebody passing through around the suburban area. Yeah, we really need the help in getting this one out. It's only a couple days in. It's a long campaign. We're treating it more like a pre-sale ticket order. Or you can go to reggieslive.com. They have tickets as well, straight through them. But through the Kickstarter, you get early entry, free comic, and we're gonna have all kinds of fun things in that first hour. You get into the convention center.
So yeah, what rewards would we get for backing the Kickstarter?
Well, we have Dan and I are, well, not me. I just wrote the book, but Dan's going to do remarked editions of the Drumsticks of Doom trade paperback for the first time. So you'll get a nice little sketch from Dan there in the front. We have T-shirts. We have bottle openers. It is a bar. We have magnets. I'm doing some sketches. I don't always dust off the pens every once in a while to try and drum up some dollars for this. We've got Drumsticks of Doom swag. Some of our great creators like Marcus and Nazo donated some comics. Wells Thompson has thrown in some things. Dan Doherty threw in his great Touching Evil book is going to be in there. So we've got a lot of different items from the creators that they're putting in. Ray Wagner is going to be doing some sketches for us too. And even if you don't see what you're chomping at the bit to get right now, we're adding things as the campaign goes on, as the creators throw in different things. So there could be something different in a couple weeks. So check back in.
So this is a breathing type of Kickstarter. It's alive. It's moving. And I see you have 38 days to go. It's a concert. So as things progress, you add things, or people will add things. It's a little different.
Yeah, it is a little different. And some of that is, again, we were planning it for a while, and then finally a venue came through. So we kind of, it was a choice of push it off to next year or take, the dates they have available to this year. So we're probably in a little bit more of a time crunch than I wanted to be. But I said, you know what? Let's just go for it. You only live once. What's a couple dollars out of my pocket? Secure the venue. Let's just go for it. Dan's helping me put the show together and invite great guests like Jim Terry and Mike Norton. Are coming. They're our featured guests. Dan himself is one of our featured guests. So we can invite more people. Obviously, as the funds go up, we can use that money, that we know is coming in from the Kickstarter for advertising, hiring more bands, more cool swag, all kinds of stuff we can put that money to. So every dollar helps.
You heard him, folks. Go do it. Go do the support thing.
Yes, help a nice small con startup, one that cares about the guests, cares about the artists. This is where money should be going, into
Exactly.
these smaller conventions, as opposed to
I
Reed Pop
agree.
doesn't need your money.
I agree. This is wonderful that you're doing this. And lately there hasn't been as much emphasis on comic art, because sometimes I'm not trying to, poo-poo on any conventions. Is sometimes if I've been to, other conventions, it's like I could buy that in a store easily, but you're selling it for a much more expensive price. For me, the most exciting part is seeing artists, actual artists, even if it's someone from Marvel Comics or DC, or even if it's a very small independent creator, that for me is the fun part, is seeing the person behind the art of the comics.
Exactly.
And with a venue like this, you're gonna get the artists, and that's what I want to see.
Yeah, and I hope, again, it's a concert venue. It's not a 40,000 person convention hall. So hopefully you'll have some more time to talk to the great artists, get to know them, not feel like you're having to rush through to see everybody in the same day. So we want to offer kind of a more, face-to-face, intimate experience, which again is cool to me. Just like concerts, right? I love, seeing big concerts. I love going to the big conventions. I go to C2E2 every year. I've been to New York, but I also like, the smaller level shows. And I also know that a lot of my peers that I'm inviting, these are the people who want to be at the smaller shows or want to be at the bigger shows, but can't necessarily get in.
Yeah.
So I want to offer a space to them. So this is kind of, my way of doing that as well.
I also feel like right now, a lot of indies are in the bigger shows, but it's not really about them. It's about other things.
It's about celebrity signings and
exactly.
Well, yeah, I was kind of thinking of that too, because like Fan Expo is next week, and no ill will to anybody who wants to go, and people enjoy that. But you do know, as we know in the scene, a lot of the conventions are moving more and more away from comics and independent art. And and I get it. They got to get people through the door. They've got their expenses to pay or whatever. So they got to move towards what people want. And if people keep coming for the autographs, they're going to keep doing it. But yeah, all of our autographs at the show will be free. So just so you know.
Nice.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, I have never done this before. I have some peers, that have ran 2 campaigns at once. It's less stressful than I thought it was going to be, but it's a lot going on. I'm balancing some plates, but again, I kind of committed to going full bore this year and seeing how it goes. So we'll put our head down and come out at the end of the year and see what's what. Not to mention, we just got these awesome comics in the mail that I'm mailing out.
Oh my goodness, who did that?
My goodness.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Look at
Wow.
We have 2 campaigns live. We're mailing out a campaign. You can probably see my desk with all my shipping supplies behind me. So it's not enough to be running 2 campaigns. You got to be shipping. You got to be creating.
Those covers are fabulous, I must say.
Yeah, and here's
Those
our
are
metal.
really nice.
Here's our. We did actually. Maybe we overcommitted. I pre-printed
Oh
some metal
wow.
covers for LCS.
That's
Oh, my
beautiful.
These glow in the black light.
Oh wow.
So what you're saying is they're radioactive.
That's what they're called. Yeah, that's what we call them on the campaign. Not actually radioactive, but we did call them that on the campaign. So yeah, I kind of I decided to pre-print them because I wanted to see how it came out, and they really came out great. So,
Dude,
again, I'm betting on myself this year, so why not?
It came out amazing. Like the color palette looked great on the Kickstarter, but it looks even better in person.
Yeah, just seeing it in person and seeing
Yeah.
the shine and everything, it's just like,
Yeah,
so
they're
satisfying.
pretty sick. They're pretty sick. They're insanely expensive to print, but they're worth it.
They're more expensive than like the standard metal covers, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're like twice as much or something. I remember.
No, not quite.
Not quite?
About a couple dollars more. Like if a
Sure.
regular metal is like 12, these were like 16 or something like that.
Okay, not horrible.
No, not too bad. It depends. We got them from Ready Comics. This is the first time I've worked with them. So if people do like what they see here, yeah, Ready Comics did an amazing job. They look awesome.
Ready Comics does a really great job. I use them for my run of Sacramony 7 because like Comics Wellspring, like their prices doubled, and I was just like, I can't do this. All right, I guess Ready Comics is like the cheaper option. So
We were just lamenting about that in one of my creator chat groups. It's like Comics Wellspring has gone up like 20% every 3 months for the last year. It's like,
yeah, because when I had gotten
I can't use them.
Yeah, I got my quote for Sacramony 7. It was like back in January when I was trying to run the campaign the first time. And I was like, okay, this price is kind of horrible, but not that horrible. And then I recently checked it. I was like, it pretty much doubled. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, so they sold the company. I know that happened earlier this year. And then I don't know. The new people were like,
Oh, great. Mergers.
yeah, we're not making, I guess they figured they weren't making their bottom line. And it was like, holy cow. So now I'm scrambling for another printer for LCS, but we'll get it.
That explains. I've been hearing a lot of complaints from people.
Like if you've printed with them already, like it'll be easy because then they have your files anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, I may just give them a shot. I know Comic Impressions is pretty comparable too, but
no. Have you seen what even Kevin Joseph was saying about Ready Comics? I had the same problems he had, and like I don't live in Florida, so I couldn't return my books.
Oh no. Well,
yeah,
I have printed with them twice before, and they were fine, but yeah, maybe I won't take the gamble.
they shrink wrapped the corners like so tight that it like peeled the paint off of the corners of the book, or peeled the ink off, like everything was getting stuck together. I was
Jesus.
like, you know what, never again. They're like, well, if you pay to mail it back to us and whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna pay to mail all of this back to Florida.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is me throwing shade at Comic Impressions on air. You guys get better,
Oh.
please.
Get better.
Get
Do
better. 31, yes!
Yay, 2 followers.
2 followers.
All right, Matt, go ahead, do it.
Oh my god, you know what? I haven't pitched Buddy and Friend in so
You're
long.
mocking my pitching and you're not ready? Come on now.
It's I haven't had to pitch Buddy and Friend since like January of last year, so it's been a while. So forgive me. But yeah, it's an unhinged like fantasy comedy that feels like a D&D campaign where everyone rolls a 1. That's pretty much the best way to sum it
I
up.
still love that.
It works. You've read it. It works. But it's about a bumbling bounty hunter named Buddy and a barbarian with a heart of gold named Leopold Frederick Maximilian Archibald Hamfist III. They are going on a quest to save the world from a demon invasion. However, they are not doing a great job. I think their kill count is higher than the demons at this point by accident.
Oh,
And-
that's messed up.
They're trying their best, all right? They're not very good, and I'm really excited about issue 3, which is what's going to launch at the end of August. Fingers crossed, if nothing gets in my way. Yeah, I'm very excited about this wizard character because he also joins the team, and he also just makes things like infinitely worse.
Every time a wizard joins the team, he makes things infinitely worse.
Yeah, exactly. He is just incredibly shady, like morally bankrupt. What you would expect from a wizard.
I don't. Maybe I've been hanging around different wizards, but I feel like the wizards always. Like, to be honest with you, I didn't even like Lord of the Rings the first time I saw it because I dislike when the wizards are just like all powerful and they just kind of make up their powers as they go. I like the idea of a different kind of wizard.
Oh, well, you'll be happy to know that this wizard is not very good at what he does as well. So, much like the
Awesome.
rest of the cast of Buddy and
So he's not OP.
he is the opposite of OP. He is the most useless wizard that could have ever been useless. So that just adds to the
He's
chaos.
the kind of wizard that throws a fireball and forgets that everybody's around him, huh?
He has not thrown a single fireball since I've started the series. That's how bad of a wizard he is.
Maybe that tagline could be, you ever heard of wizards that are OP? Meet one that's oh please.
Oh,
I
love
like
that.
it. I like
Oh, that's
it.
great.
that is a good one.
Oh, please.
Yeah, he has his own special way of ruining things, but definitely it's not because he's overpowered. But yeah, so I mean, it's a fun dynamic because the main character, Buddy, he's kind of like this true neutral, like, you know, I don't really care about this mission, but I guess I should do it to, you know, help this guy save the world. Then you have the barbarian who's kind of like this lawful, good, very by the books, like, we have to help everybody. And then you just have this like chaotic evil wizard that seems to like stabbing things more than casting magic for some reason. And
I've met a lot of those.
I've been one of those. It was
You are
fun.
one of those. I was about to say.
I am one of those. Yeah, that is true. Thank you for acknowledging that. I feel validated.
Oh, no.
And yeah, I mean, it's a fun, light-hearted, dark-humored read. And yeah, just looking forward to moving forward with this. I love this story so much. I started it as a webcomic like back in 2013, and then I had to like kind of quit for a while because webcomics weren't treating me that well in the money department. I had to do other things like, you know, get an actual job and an actual life and do things. And so I put it on hold for a while, and then I brought it back last year, and I've been actually redoing the art and the writing from like scratch because my art and writing in 2013 was not very good. So I was like, you know, it doesn't really reflect what I'm capable of doing now. Let me give it like a nice facelift, to clean up some of the writing, and just do the whole thing over. And this was
it's like sacrimony. Then you got better.
Yeah, I died and then I got better.
You could even like save your older pages as like a special feature. Like, this is what it used to be.
Look,
Yeah,
But
I plan on doing that.
This is it now.
I'm gonna do that as a stretch goal when I do the trade paperback for issues 1 through 4. I'm gonna have a stretch goal where it's like, want to see the old pages from 2013? Like, when we raise this amount of money, you'll get like a digital version to compare and be like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you changed this. Because yeah,
nice addition.
Past me didn't really know much about like actually making comics or like pacing or anything. So like I learned on the fly. I'm entirely self-taught. I've never been to like art school or anything. So I just had to like spend all of these years like asking myself, how do I do the thing? And I finally figured it out. So that's good.
And that's
Or at least I
that's
hope
the
I
right that's the right attitude. Because I mean, like honestly, I went to school for animation. I never went in for like graphic design or any sense of illustrating. And when I first started the Blue Hilda comic, I was kind of like, I know I don't know a lot about comics. I know my panels might not have the best layout as other comics. I just want to get this started.
Yes.
And hopefully just learn as I go. And I have learned as I've gone. And I'm still learning a lot of different things. And I hope I don't stop.
And that's the beauty of comics, because like I love picking up someone's like issue 1 or like looking at the first page of a webcomic and then going to like the most recent thing like years later, and it's like, you know, just seeing how the creator progressed, how they improved, what they learned, like what the style evolves into, because it's like, you know, issue 8 isn't going to look like issue 1, and it's like it's always interesting for me, like, you know, knowing the things behind the scenes about like art and writing and stuff now, to be able to be like, oh my God, so they do this now, they do that, the line works like this. Like, it's just cool to see.
It's interesting that you can say that about other people's, but then you're like, when you do that for yourself, you're like, I got to redo this. Like, I'm like you, like I like to see the growth too, especially in web comics and, you know, like strips and stuff like that. I say no going backwards, always move forward, but
and it's funny because this was me being like, I think 12 issues and like 250 pages or so into Buddy and Friend, being like, I gotta go back and fix it.
And this is the second comic you've done that on.
Yes, I mean it's a recurring thing with me where I kind of do like a beta test of a comic for like 200 or 300 pages, and then I go back and I'm like, all right, now that I know what I'm doing, how do I do this
That's
better?
the great thing of indie. You can actually put it out there and go, oh, that didn't work. Let's fix it.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a beta test. I'll tell you, you don't get to redraw CPS. All right, you got one shot. That's it.
Well, you and I are gonna have a talk. No, we're not. I'm really happy with the way CPS came out, and yeah, I learned a lot even while doing CPS about like, you know, traditionally drawing comic pages and stuff. Like the second half I did was infinitely better than the first half, but
I think you nailed it.
Thank
you. No
you.
redos over at Part-Time Comics.
No, just get one shot. Well, thankfully now I have enough of my shit together to know like how things work and whatnot. So, but yeah, I needed that like 10 years since like 2013 to just figure things out.
That's the way to go, man. You move, you learn, you go. I love the fact that you guys all said that, because a lot of people always ask me the same question when it comes to creating in general. They go, "Oh, Ralph, you know, I want to do this." I'm like, "Well, just do it."
Yeah,
and I go, I don't know nothing. I'm like, well, just do it, because you're not gonna know what you need to fix until you do it.
And of all the creative mediums, comics is that applies to the most, because yes, just create a comic. If it's 1 page, if it's 12 pages, if you can, even if it's horrible, do it all yourself. You'll learn about drawing, lettering, coloring, scanning. You know, all those things that your co-creators might do with you. You'll have better empathy for them too. So just do a short story, jam it out. Even if you don't show it to anybody, you throw it in the garbage, you delete it off your computer. Do the whole process beginning to end. Print it and go through the woes of how does it look at print, and do they come damaged in the mail, all that. And then you'll be like, okay, now I'm ready for the next step.
Some things said you didn't tell him to do that when he said he wanted to rule the world.
Keep trying, man. Don't give up. Don't be a quitter.
Honestly,
just do it.
And honestly, that's one of the hardest things about starting a project, is starting it.
Exactly.
Because and you're always going to be wondering, like, well, that person who's an indie creator, they have this software, I don't have this software. But it's like, well, instead of using your money to buy video games or whatever toys you get, why don't you save up and get and then get that piece of software? Or if you can't afford it, work with what you have for now.
Yeah.
Because like I've heard a lot of great things about CPS, but I can't afford it right now because I'm subscribe to Toon Boom Harmony and Storyboard Pro. So right now I'm using Procreate, which I still get a good result out of that as well. But I'm dying to try CPS at some point.
But that is true, right? Like artists obsess about the tools at first, and then you just realize you just got to put some sort of ink on the paper and see what comes out. Otherwise, you will be just kind of spinning your wheels forever, Which I know is hard. I know it's not easy, but.
And I have to follow my own advice because you cannot compare yourself at all, because I've done that since even before Instagram started, even when things were blogs back then in 2006. It's like that person's doing this. I'm not doing this.
They're doing this, and they have 1,000 followers, and maybe I only have 5 followers because I'm not
exactly.
That is poison.
It is. It totally is. So I would say for anyone, and again, I have to tell myself this, I'm not saying totally give up on social media. Just put it aside, ignore it, focus on you. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Just focus on you and the people that you care about around you, because it will just make your life so much easier.
Be the best version of you.
Exactly.
With whatever tools you've got, just be the best version. You got Procreate, use the hell out of that Procreate.
What if I want to be like this wizard and I want to be the worst version of me?
I'm always the worst version of me, unapologetically. There is no best version of me. The best version is the worst version.
Be the you that the me believes in.
You don't believe in me. Don't even.
Listen, voice.
I left it vague.
Faceless voice.
I know who you're talking to.
Listen, I believe Bunny Lord 2389 will come.
I knew he was going
to.
I believe in you.
Why is it 2389?
Because 2388 got killed allegedly, according to you.
Oh, I thought 2388 leveled up, and it was 2389 now.
According to you, you killed him. So I'm going with 2389.
Oh, is this like Rogue Legacy, where it's one dies and then the descendant takes over?
It's just a Metrovania.
Yeah.
If you want to hear a very cursed piece of information, the Emperor's New Groove is a Metrovania.
Cool.
Okay.
Prophet, I also use Photoshop 5. I've been lettering with it for 15 years, and I'm never getting into one.
I still use CS5 also for whatever minor edits, because editing in Clip Studio actually is not that great when you're resizing things, especially when you're scaling down. The image gets really blurry and pixelated, so I just scale everything down on Photoshop. That's all I do is just format my pages for print in terms of converting to CMYK. And
I think the problem with that, and this is the problem with Procreate, I think because CPS doesn't have vector lines, right?
It does, but you have to make a specific layer for that. Otherwise, if you're scaling your raster stuff, they anti-alias it so hard that it just becomes this blurry thing.
I
have some peers who I work with on comics, and whenever they work in Creative Suite Pro, I always get these huge files that are 1,000 inches when they email it to me, and I'm like, what the hell? Now I understand why they make them so big.
You can change resolution pretty easy, so I don't know what they're doing, but in terms of if you're editing on the software itself and you're oh, that guy's head's too big, let me lasso tool and make it smaller, and all of a sudden it's just it becomes this blurry mosaic, you just censored out his face or something.
Yeah, I'll stick with the crusty old Photoshop. It's all I know how to use.
It gets the job done.
I don't think Andrew knows that we know it's him, because he keeps saying it's Andrew. I'm like, I know it's Andrew.
What other artist and prophet do we know?
You gonna say,
the
Jim?
question we should ask is which Andrew?
All of them.
We know which Andrew it is.
All of the Andrews of the world in one room typing on a computer.
Very true.
So, folks, Penguino's Revenge needs your help. It has 3 days to go. It's at 2,394. It needs to get to 4,000 to fund. Come on, folks.
Man.
I'm amazed that Penguino's Revenge.
It's been a struggle summer.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm afraid to launch at the end of August. I don't know what fate holds for me, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend a short one.
Yeah, John.
I always do short campaigns.
Yeah, exactly. John, I was saying in the green room, I'm completely surprised that you're having trouble.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what it is.
Or it's just a slow. Again, it's an issue 1, so there's a lot of factors. I get it, but I definitely probably shouldn't have done a short one for an issue 1. Like my more established series, Drumsticks of Doom and CPS can probably handle it. But yeah, I probably that was a slight misstep, but we'll figure it out.
It's still learning experience.
What you need is Bunny Lord 2389.
I knew he was gonna say that.
It's all he says.
Can you ban this guy from the chat?
Seriously, get him out of here.
Chat, can you believe this?
There's hope, folks, because Quiet level 1 is actually doing really well.
Whoa!
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We had him on the show on Monday, and he talked a lot about all his. This book is beautiful.
I mean, look at it. Jeez, no wonder
his character, the little skeleton guy. I think it's funny though, as a D&D player, that the hero in this book is a skeleton you probably kill in one of our campaigns.
I love it. I love that. Also, I love like the art style, how simplistic the main character is, and then there's like these huge, like epic looking worlds and like scary monsters and stuff, and it's just like it's a nice contrast.
Because he did the twist. The bad guy is actually the guy, one who'll be the hero, which is like the player, and now the little skeleton guy is just trying to save his own world.
Love it. I sympathize with the skeleton. I do.
He would make a great plushie.
Oh my god! I would get
one.
Yeah, jeez.
He has a great. I gotta show you guys. Let's see.
It's a mini. Man,
he has a great mini. Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Oh, he's got a little miniature.
Yeah. Yeah, the book is amazing. We had him on the show. It just. Yeah.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself.
Look.
There it is.
Oh my goodness. A little guy.
Wow.
It's just a little guy. Also shout out for him using white brass. That's very cool. I used to use white brass when I made jewelry, and white brass is nice because it looks like silver, but it's not like, the cost of silver.
That's cool.
And it's not that bad. I think it's 65 for that figure.
That's a bargain, actually.
That's cool.
You guys who collect minis are crazy.
Wait, how big is it? 3 inches?
It's a mini, so it's like
2.2 inches. Oh, okay, that was 22. I was like, Jesus.
2.2 inches is still a pretty.
Yeah, that's a decent.
Mini.
It's pretty decent, and it's a solid figure. It's not like it's like
It's like this big.
Dude, I know guys who play their games and they pay way more for the miniatures.
It's the same thing in everything, like Magic the Gathering. You've got to buy the foiled cards and all that shit, You gotta have the bling.
I always wanted to get into Magic, but I don't have Magic money.
No, don't.
Don't
you
do
don't
it.
want to get into Magic.
I don't have Magic money. We know this.
I'll send you some free. I'll send you some free cards.
If I won the lotto, there'd be signs.
Ooh, this looks interesting.
Mata, I know we have our differences, but please listen to me. Don't start Magic. Don't even
now I have
you
to.
free.
Well, now that you're saying
I'm trying to save you.
Also,
now that you're saying no, she wants to do it more.
Yeah, no.
Dude, look at that. What are you doing that for?
Because he wants to play Magic.
You gave this to me.
Trying to save
tell us a little bit about it.
Nat, shut up.
Wow.
Respectfully, I say shut up.
Go ahead.
All right. That was directed at Nat, not
Man.
video. But yeah, so my pals, John Eddington II and Ryan Kruboth, they are working on this. Like,
this looks cool.
I want to get them on the show. I'm gonna bother Ryan afterwards.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why aren't they on the show?
You know what? I'm like, Ryan, like, go on the show, and he's like, oh yeah, that sounds like fun. I'm like, when? But
y'all are gonna go broke with all these campaigns targeted directly at you.
Yeah, I feel incredibly targeted. So yeah, I've read the first issue, and it's really funny. It's about this foul-mouthed rogue sort of character teaming up with the bigger guy who's just really nice and sweet. So they have that dynamic of just one is very nice and the other is just a complete asshole. And yeah, it's the first one was funny because they got cursed to work together, which is the worst thing that could happen. And yeah, because they in typical D&D fashion, they got into a tavern brawl, they destroyed the tavern, and then they had to raise money to pay back the owner for repairs. And also, somebody might have drawn a cover for this book, which is also why I
was wondering why I saw this. Now I remember.
Maddie, you've been busy.
I have been busy.
Wow.
So yeah, also this book is like 48 pages, so like it's
a
good
book.
It is a
Ooh.
book. Even the first issue I think was like 56 pages or something. Like, oh, who did that?
It's a meta cover.
Wow.
Who did that? Yeah, so I did a cover for them, and like it was an honor to even have Ryan reach out to me and just be like, "Oh, hey, we're doing this fantasy thing. You want to do a cover?" I'm like, "Hell yes, I want to do a cover."
That's cool.
Thank you. There's a lot of skulls. It was very fun.
Why did I draw so many skulls?
You know, and it's funny because my buddy and friend 3 cover also has a lot of skulls. So I guess it's just the summer of skulls for me, which I'm okay with.
Summer of Skulls.
Summer of Skulls.
Summer
Nice.
of skulls, yeah.
Come on, folks. Support the Summer of Skulls.
Yeah, grab a cool cover that I did. Also, the other covers are really great, but specifically grab mine because that will boost my ego. This one's also really cool. This feels a lot like your standard like D&D kind of cover here.
Well, this reminds me of D&D the animated series.
Ooh,
Yeah.
throwback.
Or even like a video game art for a Nintendo
Oh yeah,
game.
you're right.
Oh my god, yeah, like Castlevania and things like that.
Or even better, it's the US Nintendo box art, but in
There you
Japan,
go.
it's actually very cute, chibi versions of them.
For sure.
That's
Yeah.
the original artwork. But America's like, no, we have to make this look not.
We have to westernize the
Hey,
crap
what's all
out of
this
it.
cute stuff? It needs to look real. It's a
Mhm.
comic
Yeah,
book. It's a video game. Stop with the real.
Yeah, let's make it real, like Mega Man. You remember Mega Man
Also, there's a
with his
not
palm
Microwave
trees?
cover for some reason.
Well, there goes the live stream.
Oh, I forgot about that
Uh-oh.
cover because I wasn't expecting it. Otherwise, I would have warned you.
Oh.
But I
Ruh-roh.
forgot. I had that.
Ruh-roh. Raggy.
And we're still not allowed to
Like
curse in
Scoop.
here, right?
I broke that a long time ago. Oh my god.
All right, gang, let's fuck shit up.
All right, Jim.
Like,
tell
I
the
don't wanna
people
be that
one more
guy.
time where they can find you and all that.
You can find me on YouTube at Sagoo Boy. That's SAGOOBOY on YouTube. And you can find Blue Hilda on Webtoon for free. And you can also find her on Patreon, where you can get a few perks, like getting some behind-the-scenes stuff from certain chapters, as well as if you sign up for my $20 tier, you'll get a mug, a
Oh wow.
cute little print, a sticker, and a full poster that
I
I
like
drew
that.
myself.
Nice.
Good swag.
I like when people actually when you actually get something. People are like, follow my Patreon, and they don't give you anything. You're like, okay.
Just follow it or else.
Give me money and I might do something. No, but my Patreon, I do custom sketch cards, which like I kind of regret doing that because that's a lot of work. But
I was
Right.
gonna say, Matt, I know what you do for yours, so you know.
too much. Too much.
Too much.
Oh my god. John, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on all social medias at Part-Time Comics with an X. Linktree is the best one because then you can choose to engage however you want. Mailing list, social media, YouTube, all those wonderful, which however you want to see my face on the internet, you could get to pick. If you ordered
your own
CPS from Mata and I, it's 2/3 in
coming.
the mail.
It's coming.
So it's they're coming. Just a few more packages, and then the people I contacted directly, who, because of some delays with CPS, now they get to save on shipping, and we get to ship with the LCS, which will be here in 2 weeks. Because come hell or high water, this thing is funded by Wednesday, and we're getting this book into the world.
It's
You heard, folks,
happening.
it's funding. Make it happen.
I'm about to click send on the order, so you better freaking fund. No,
And of course, don't forget that he's working on this indie comic expo. And folks, you want to support the indie scene, here's a great place to do it. And you get good stuff from it.
Absolutely. And it might feel strange to, buy a ticket to an event, 2 months in advance. But again, us knowing that people are coming through the door, having the income coming in is going to help just make it a better show. So if you want to be part of that and get some cool swag and get in early, support the Kickstarter or share it out as much as you can, because all of us, have social media friends that are in different areas. So don't think your share doesn't go a long way in helping a small con do big things.
Sharing is caring, folks. Sometimes you share that piece and somebody else will be interested in it and they'll go check it out.
Yeah, that's how it works. So even if it's not your thing, if you're not in Chicago, just share it. Someone in Chicago will see it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Remember what NBC said, the more you know. Do-do-do-do.
Exactly.
Knowing is half
Here's
the
one to
battle.
grow on.
Because knowledge is power.
Jim, I like you because I feel like I'm watching myself.
Yes,
Go ahead,
I really want to do voices someday.
Your voices are really great.
I love your voices, man.
Right?
I thought you were like a professional voice guy as well as like.
I thought that's what you were going to say was your job on the show.
Exactly.
Like I thought you were the real Fred.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, gang, I really got to get my shit together about that. But yeah, that is a whole other hurdle I have to kind of jump over because there's a whole thing about like you need to contracted things to be a part of SAG or stuff like that. They were very nice about it. They just said just to get started, just find some companies that support SAG stuff. Even if you're not part of it yet, you can still audition. So I'll just try that.
That's what because I'm the same. I've been working on my voiceover stuff for a while, and it's always the same thing. You go find some indie people and do some of those projects, and sooner or later you'll end up on a SAG project, and then you can because it's so funny because there's such the community for voiceover. It's so hard to get into.
A lot of red tape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matta. Tell the people all the good stuff. Go for it.
So I'm going to be kickstarting The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend, issues
Woo!
1 through 3. So yeah, we get a new issue 3, more chaos energy, more wizard stabbing things.
More rolling one.
More rolling ones because everyone is terrible at what they do. And yeah, you can find me at, I guess my link tree would be the best, which is linktree /Mattasorcier, MATTASORCIER. And it has all my links to my social media that I'm very bad at using. And also, I should probably update my Kickstarter link on there. I only recently got approved for the pre-launch page for Buddy and Friends, so I'm a little behind on updating my links. But yeah, just all the more reason to stay tuned, see where this chaos energy goes, and just enjoy the wild, wild ride and all of the fantasy creatures dying in horrible ways.
Same Matta channel, same Matta time. Come on, people, go notify. Because if folks, I tell you all the time, you go and you do the notify to launch stuff, and then it's free and it helps out the project because the more notifies and the more files they have, the better it is when it starts.
Yeah, those free things, they really help. And we know people get bombarded with these things. You get tired of click and follow. Oh, I'll see it later, and then you don't because it gets lost.
They don't need me. They've got enough follows or whatever. No, we always need more. We're not making money here. We don't sleep here.
As annoying as it sounds, just when people says just click that like button and subscribe, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, you know the deal.
It costs you nothing.
Exactly.
Literally costs you nothing. It's the best free way to help a creator,
including on this show you're watching right now. Like and subscribe.
Yep.
And not to throw in a third pitch there, but if LCS is successful and Buddy and Friend is successful, then Matta and I can start to work on the next CPS. So all these things snowball into more wonderful creations for you.
Yes, it does. I tell you people all the time, nobody's making money. Everybody's putting it back into their comics.
Oh my gosh.
And we're already in talks for the next issue of CPS as well. So it's a good one. It is juicy.
All right. It has been a blast, folks. We are at the 1:30 mark. So we are over our time here, but we're having fun. We're geeking out. I hope you've all enjoyed the show. You 10 people that showed up, go rewatch the show. What are you showing up so late for?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, man. Mr. Nat, are we forgetting anything?
He's going to mention that, Bunny. You're setting yourself up.
No, not in this case. I don't believe so. I haven't had much time to check the Kickstarter list at all.
Oh, wait.
I believe everyone.
I just talked to Nat, and it reminded me that we're missing one Kickstarter. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, here it goes. I have to show this. They just came off.
Oh,
What is that?
Oh my
They
didn't
god.
realize
just
they
came
started.
off of the convention, and Nomnivore Games has their Kickstarter going.
I got this. I
Go
actually
for
know
it.
this.
Go.
So, from the makers who brought you Emberwind, and also cute little dinosaurs that go all around on D&D adventures,
Yep.
comes Nomnaventure. This is basically, from what I remember, a far more easy to access type of sort of tabletop experience where it's designed primarily around young kids to be able to tell stories while playing RPGs.
Oh, that's
primarily TTRPGs.
Gotta start
So-
him young.
You know, my son started just this year with D&D, and he's wanted to for a couple of years. And yeah, this would have been a great window for him a few years ago. Wow, that's great.
That is
Well,
adorable.
there's many
So
other
cute.
kids who would love this. And let me tell you, this combines every project that they have been working on for a long time. This is a passion that Derek and the rest of the team over at Nomnivore have. It's a great project. It's a great cause. And they have a great community behind them. So, like, anytime you have a question, they are ready to help out.
And they're all spicy friendly. That is too funny.
They're coming to this straight from Gen Con.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. They're there
That
right
is a
now.
big deal.
Hopefully they got a lot of signups. Yeah, it's a big goal, but yeah, this could easily. Neuro spicy, huh? That's a new one.
I got to tell you, folks, what they did was they took all the stuff they've been working on, just like Nat said, and they put it all together into this thing and gave you a nice starter package. You know, because I know sometimes we want to get our kids involved in role playing and all this and that, and this is a perfect window for you guys to do that.
And it's also
And guess
adorable.
what? We're gonna have him on the show.
Let's go.
Nice.
That's actually a very rare treat. He's hard to get.
He is hard to get. Like I said, it was just a Gen Con.
Ralph is that good.
Yeah.
You should do it.
So there you have it, folks. I think that was the last one, unless you remember something else, Nat.
No, because the one I'm thinking of ended.
Okay. Oh, there go our friends from Time Enforcers. Another beautiful game.
Yeah.
Dude, and they're still working on their choice for their new character.
The
So go over
dog.
to Time
Vote
Enforcer
for the dog.
and pick the dog. I was about to
The
say
dog.
that. Pick
I mean,
the
you have
dog.
3 human characters and a dog. Who's gonna win?
The
It's gonna
dog.
be the dog.
I don't know. It's pretty close.
Who has the ears?
The dog.
The dog.
All right, folks. We can go on all night, but I know you folks need to go and do your thing. See, you 10 people that showed up. You got a little bit of show.
Yeah.
But now go rewatch the rest of it.
See all the good stuff you missed.
Exactly. And on this show, when it ends, we do this thing over here where I press this and this happens.
The wonderful BittenApple show. We hope to see you again. Come back on Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we will have another show for you then. If not, feel free to watch any of our many live streams that are here on the channel. Any questions, please direct over to Ralph. He can get you in touch with Raphael.